Hello. I'm gonna try and do my November favourites now. Technically, I do still have the rest of today and tomorrow. I'm filming this on Friday the 29th of November around 3 o'clock, which means I don't have long before Shabbat, so I'm really hoping I can get this done. But because it is Shabbat for the rest of November, I'm really hoping that there won't be anything to add. And if there is, I'll mention it in my December favourites and just say this happened, in that 24-hour period that I missed. Or 36-hour, I suppose. And we do have quite a lot actually for November, which sort of just happened. I didn't think there were going to be any, and then it just grew and grew and grew. So to begin with, for movies, I've got 3. I've got Finding Nemo, which we watched as a family when I was back in Australia, and none of us had seen it in a long time, or at least I hadn't. And it was just really cute. It's always fun to watch back old nostalgic films. Next, I got to see the Wicked movie. It was incredible. It was so good. I'm very impatient for the next movie, but I loved it. They really stay true to the musical, which is not always a guarantee. And it was definitely something I was concerned about. I was a little bit concerned about the casting as well, and I really needn't have been. Oh, I hope you can hear me. And then third of all, we're back into Christmas films, and the one I watched was The Princess Switched Again, which is the second movie in a trilogy. I watched the first movie, I think 2 or 3 years ago, and then I think last year they released, I don't know when they released the sequels, but I didn't have a chance to watch them, and this year I did. Well, not both of them, I've watched one so far, but it's sweet, it's just cute. It's not the most mind-blowing movie ever, but Christmas movies don't have to be. Except Last Christmas, that was a mind-blowing movie, and I highly recommend that to everyone. Okay, next up, we're on to TV shows, and I just had one, and it's Heartstopper Season 3. I actually think I started watching it in October, but I don't know if I mentioned it in my favourites. But it's just such a gorgeous show, and I'm so glad it exists. And I wish there was more, I just want to keep watching it. It's lovely. Next, for books, we have way more than I was expecting. I think we've got 6. Yeah. So, first of all, I finally finished the Julie Kaplan series. So I finished the last 2 books, which were The Cosy Cottage in Ireland and The Christmas Castle in Scotland. I actually don't believe these are the last. I do think there's 1 or 2 more that have been published since, but they're not yet on my library. So, by my standards, I've finished it. They were both cute. I mean, the whole series is cute, but nothing special. It's just an easy read. So, I enjoy that. It doesn't need to be groundbreaking for me. Although, the next book on my list kinda was. It was a non-fiction called I Heard What You Said by Jeffrey Boakye, and it's written by someone who was a teacher, a black teacher, or maybe still is, in the English education system and just their experience of it, both being a student themselves, but also, more importantly, as a teacher. And it's so fascinating. I mean, obviously, first of all, I didn't go to an English school growing up, but diversity exists everywhere. That being said, the school I did go to wasn't particularly diverse. I should say the schools, actually, because I went to a few different schools. But I'm trying to think if we had any people of colour in my Dutch school, and I don't think so. And I don't think we had any in one of my schools that I went to in Australia. And I think we had maybe 1 or 2 in the other school I went to in Australia. So a lot of what he was talking about were things I hadn't seen. And obviously, I mean, I'm not black. So anyway, that would be, I wouldn't be able to relate to everything, even if I went to an English school where there was a lot more diversity. But it was really interesting to hear about the levels of racism that kids face. And I could not believe that. And adults, actually, as well. I really highly recommend it. I think it's very eye-opening. And also what's interesting is he's obviously coming from 2 perspectives, not just being a person of colour, but also being a male in what's typically seen as a female-dominated field. But then also talking about how females or black females have experienced it based on what he's heard from them. Very interesting. Very interesting, and I really recommend it. The next book I read was also outstanding, and it was Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I read The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo last month, and I loved that. And Daisy Jones and the Six has always sort of vaguely been in the back of my mind because I know that it had a big fad at some point, but I just don't really care for hippies and rock bands and stuff like that, so I thought, not for me. But then when I read Evelyn Hugo, I was like, no, I love the writing style, I want to read more. And I listened to the audiobook, which apparently is recommended, although I just did it because I always listen to audiobooks. And it was so well done. I really liked the writing style again, and the way it was done this time was as interviews. And so you were hearing different perspectives of the same scenario, and I really like that. And it was interesting because the whole time I was like, what's the catch? Why is this book being written? And I couldn't see I couldn't see what the significance of it was. And it was only obviously at the end that they reveal something and you're like, oh, wow, okay. Although it wasn't as major of a reveal as you get in Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really highly recommend it. And it's just incredible how it makes you care for this band that doesn't even exist. Oh, it's so cleverly done. And actually, the next one after that was also a really good book, and it was The Last Lifeboat by Hazel Gaynor. Now, I think I read another book by her. I wonder if it was The Rose Code. I don't know if that was by her. No, it wasn't. So what did I read by her? Oh, no? I don't know. I'm gonna tilt the camera down a bit. I mean, I know we're halfway through the video, but still, it's more comfortable for me. Now, this was a historical fiction based on something true, which I just, to begin with, love. That's so up my street. I love historical fiction. I love things that are based in truth. Like, it's so interesting. And this was something I'd never even heard about, and it was really interesting to hear. And again, you had a few different perspectives, and it was really, really well written and showing what life was like for people in England during the Second World War. And it's also really interesting to me because obviously, the Second World War for me is very much from the lens of Judaism and having been Jewish in that time and, you know, what family members went through. But I find it so interesting to hear other perspectives of that same war and, you know, all the other hardships people had to go through. I really enjoyed this book. I really enjoyed it. It's been a strong month for me. And finally, onto Christmas again. I read Christmas at Holiday House by Rayanne Thane. This book was very sweet, very cozy, very Christmassy, but it was also very predictable. Basically, from the first 10 pages, I could see exactly how it was going to play out. It was just a little bit too on the nose. But it was such a warm read. Like, I didn't mind that I knew where it was going, and I didn't mind that, you know, things were being said that I was like, why are you saying this? I just really loved it as a cozy, warm Christmas read. Onto plays, I just have one, and it's Nye, because National Theatre uploaded, like, for 48 hours that you could view it on YouTube. And the 48 hours it was uploaded was the 48 hours I was flying. So that worked out incredibly well, because my friend has YouTube Red, or whatever it's called, Plus, I don't know. And so they let me log into their account and download it for the plane. And that was fantastic. But the play was so good. I had no idea. I'd heard about Nye. First of all, obviously, I heard about it when it was playing. And then I knew there was a cinema release of it. And I was curious about it, but I didn't end up going. But I had no idea what it was about. The only way I know Nye is there's like Bill Nye the Science Guy. I have no idea what it means. I just know it's a thing in America, I think. Maybe it's British. I don't know. So I presumed it was going to be something sciencey. That was all I knew about it. And again, this is something that is based on a true story, and I just love it. And it was so interesting how it was done. And I believe it's Michael Sheen who plays the lead. I could be mistaken. I really hope I'm not. Whoever the lead was, phenomenal acting. Phenomenal. Oh, it was so good. It was so, so good. And it's definitely a play I now want to go and see in person. Just goes to show you pro shots work. And now we're skipping on to fashion, and we've got 4. Number 1 is my gorgeous book dress. I've shown it, I think, in a few vlogs, although they may not have gone up yet. I finally got to bust it out again after many, many months, and I just enjoyed wearing it. It's just the perfect dress for me. Next, again mentioned in a vlog, but I'm not sure if you would have seen it yet, but you will be seeing it soon, I think. My new sports gear. I got lots of running gear, not lots, I got 4 items whilst I was in Australia to help me have more options for my running. Which, again, as always, you can donate in the link below. Please do. It's for a fundraiser. It's for charity. It's not for me. And I really, really, really want to reach my goal of £250. And I would love it if every single one of you could just donate £1. Then that would get us there. Please. Anyway, that aside, I love the colours. I love the feel. The leggings have 2 pockets, which is such a win. And it's got me more motivated to run. So, ticks all round. And it was cheap. Next, I got some mini hair clips that I've been wanting to get for ages, and I just couldn't find the right ones anywhere. And in Australia, I was with my mum and I saw them and I said, I'm going to buy these. And it was a 4-pack. I was only looking for 2, and 2 of them were black and 2 of them were like brown greyish, and I don't really use the light ones. I haven't used them at all yet, but I love the black ones because basically, we're going on a little bit of a tangent here. I really like to do my hair in the like half ponytails, but I find it like really hurts my scalp because it's quite tight. And you can get the same effect with clips if you just like click, and it's just a lot less pressure, I suppose, on the scalp. So big win. Next, I have these soft pajamas that have koalas on them. I'll show them to you actually now. I've worn them many a time before. We bought these in Australia as well, and I said to my mum at the time, I absolutely don't need more pajamas. I have way too many, but actually I'm so glad she made me buy them because they are so soft, and even though they've been washed a lot, they're still soft. And they fit perfectly It's so rare for me to have any item of clothing that fit, especially pajama trousers, I found. So I'm so happy that these actually fit perfectly, like, everywhere. Look how cute they are, and they're so soft. I wish you could, like, feel it. Ugh, I love them. Now, next up, remember how we've changed this to reviews rather than favourites, even though I still can't get out of the mindset of saying favourites? This next one is not a favourite at all. It is the Shanghai Pudong Airport, which is where I spent 7 hours on my layover, and there is nothing to do. There is no Wi-Fi, or at least no Wi-Fi that works, and the chairs are not particularly comfortable. The only thing I can say for it is they have these plugs that allow for a lot of different nationalities. I don't know if nationalities is the right word, but like different countries' plugs. So that is good. That's the one thing I'll give it. But aside from that, there weren't even clocks, which was very annoying for me, having not changed my watch. So yeah, I mean, look, it was by far the cheapest flight, so I'm not going to complain. But if you can avoid it, if you can afford to avoid it, I would. And that's it. So just my song of the month left. And I was umming and ahhing about this one. Initially I'd written down Just In Case from Why Am I So Single, but I feel like that was more the start of the month. I mean, it was a lot at the start of the month, but this side of the month, it's been more Doe maar van Dutch and English. From 4045, which is the Dutch, well, Belgian musical that I loved and fell in love with, I think 18 months ago or so. In fact, maybe more, maybe it was like 2 years ago. And it's just like such a good song. Even though most of you probably don't speak Dutch, I recommend just listening to it. I'll put how you spell it here if you like musical theatre and like, dramatic songs. And with that, I have 5 minutes until Shabbat comes in. So thank you very much for listening to me. And I don't know why I said that. Sometimes my brain doesn't, I don't know. But thank you very much for watching. And let me know your favourites or non-favourites of the month down below in the comments. Please do donate for my running if you can. If you, even £1 or £2, anything would be just amazing. I know I mention it a lot, but it's because I just really want to reach my goal. And I'm pretty sure you can donate anonymously, so you don't even have to worry about like sharing details or anything like that. And I will see you all very shortly, I think, with another video. Bye!